My lifespan only has 30 days left, but when I chose to give up, a death note extended my life. I call it the Urban Legend Chronicle notebook. I use it to punish the cruelty in this world, absorbing the destruction of the supernatural world, becoming the controller against the bizarre surveillance. Because this world contains all kinds of terrifying and strange things. Everyone normal is like thin paper in front of them. In the 30-day countdown, my only hope of life is to write a diary. I write in the death note. Every urban story written in my death note will become reality. But judgment is the essence of demons. They freely roam the world, constantly eroding the fairness and goodness of this world. Every time a villain is mysteriously punished by me, my life will be extended. The fair and evil confrontation will end with the price of blood. But this world is still full of continuous mysterious existences, no one knows, only to eradicate humans carrying unfair screams. Only mystery can defeat mystery. Magic can be defeated by magic, only then can the world's destruction be prevented. The flower of life is about to wither, let me turn into light in the darkest moments. Even though this world is full of demons, I will still live with this justice. Only 30 days left when I choose to give up, a death note extended my life. I call it the Urban Legend Chronicle notebook. I use it to punish the cruelty in this world, absorbing the destruction of the supernatural world, becoming the controller against the bizarre surveillance. A very special interrogation room entirely made of glazed tiles. Xu Jing, in a landscape costume, opens the door and steps in. The man sitting on the chair seems to see something terrifying. His body trembles incessantly, eyes confused with blood vessels. The eyes widened with fear and anxiety as the door was opened by Xu Jing. He felt like a frightened bird quickly covering his eyes and shouting loudly. He closed the door quickly as Xu Jing tried to calm him down and slowly shut the door. Now you can answer me. What happened at your house? But after a long time, the man did not answer. Xu Jing shouted, don't think you can escape criminal responsibility. Think about what you've done to your family. After finishing speaking, he angrily threw an iPad onto the table. On the screen were two images, a woman covered in wounds protecting a girl on the floor with a broken rope and the girl's crumpled painting. The man let go abruptly as if trying to remember something, but suddenly his eyes widened, staring behind Xu Jing's back and trembling as if possessed. A cold sensation crept up Xu Jing's feet as he turned to look at the door behind him. But there was nothing there. Xu Jing turned back to see the man crouched under the table. Xu Jing scolded, stop playing games, confess the truth. But in his view, the ground cracked. Eyes densely appeared, all pointing towards the man. He saw Xu Jing slowly approaching him, but what made him even more scared was the woman's mouth gap with a red eye full of blood vessels slowly enlarging Xu Jing's lips. His left eye had 3 eyes, even in his throat there was an eye, all pointing towards him. The last nerve at this moment was completely destroyed. He quickly pushed the interrogation table, reaching his hand into his mouth. This bizarre assassination only took place recently online. It's said that anyone who sees this image and doesn't like it will have nightmares, but what people don't know is that the murderer in this case is a high school student. A month ago, Yuan Zhenxi found a notebook in the library. As soon as he opened it, he time-traveled. This notebook is called Mystical City Files. It took him to another world. His parents died in a plane crash, leaving a large compensation. His idyllic life turned into an obsession because of this notebook. A 30-day countdown of life began. Luckily the notebook brought hope for him. Just writing about strange events in the city, punishing the villains in society, he will receive good and evil points to prolong life. This stabbed eye case is the beginning of Yuan Zhenxi's trial. Everyone who sees the eye photo will awaken the sins in their soul and eventually suffer the consequences, but it's just the beginning. My life only has 30 days left when I decided to give up a prolonged life by a notebook. I call it Mystical City Files. I use it to punish the villains in society, absorb the diseases of this strange world and become a monitor against the supernatural. Blooming blood-colored Higanbana, the modest girl of Vongmin Hell, has come just to punish the bullies at school. They will be sent to an endless hell. This strange event I call hell. Contact every time midnight strikes at 000. When my life expectancy is only 30 days, when I choose to give up a notebook that has prolonged my life, I call it Mystical City Files. I use it to punish the villains in society, absorb the diseases of this strange world and become a monitor against the supernatural. Blooming blood-colored Higanbana, the modest girl of Vongmin Hell, has come just to punish the bullies at school. They will be sent to an endless hell. This strange event I call hell. Contact every time midnight strikes at 000. At a place called Hell, the information on the website entered the resentment of a girl named Hoang Tuyen who can resist being abused. Weapons to eliminate resentment. One day in the strict Julia office, carrying a backpack. Seeing his desperation, he trembles every time he faces fear. Standing in front of him are 2 special investigators from the Institute of Spiritual Science, Seichi and Chio. In front of them, a video is being broadcast documenting the school bullying incident involving Gulia. The attacker, named Sakihei Megumi, is currently showing a cruel face, displaying a malicious and powerful face, as if wanting to forcefully pull Gulia's scalp. In the video, Gulia is enduring unimaginable pain. After a series of horrific pain, Gulia suddenly pulls out a red straw from her bag. It is actually a Higan flower. She holds it tightly in front of her chest, staring at Sakihei Megumi as if deciding something. Forcefully tearing the branch of the Higan flower, at that moment, Sakihei Megumi's hand that was holding the hair began to distort, his body trembling violently. A desperate cry emanated from his soul, his face suddenly collapsed. As if sucked the soul out, in a strange posture, he suddenly fell face down on the ground, and the video froze at 4 minutes 44 seconds. Chiyo retrieves the phone, saying that until 8 a.m. today, the number of abnormally dead people like Sakihei has exceeded 200 and is still increasing tens of times. These people all died without brain activity, with no signs of being attacked by any human. And you have become the only suspect of the Institute of Spiritual Science. I hope you will not hide anything and will confess everything you know. Hearing the gentle question from the person sitting on the chair, "Have you come into contact with the Higan girl? I want to know all the details," Gulia trembles and recounts the whole incident. It was precisely the night before when she was continuously bullied by Sakihei Megumi. And the disagreement from the school teacher after reading the article about the girl of the dark land, finally, the emotions inside erupted. Found a link to the infernal media, writing the name Shihei Ishihara without hesitation, then pressing enter. Immediately, a drop of blood falls from above. A red streak. Before he could react, the red flame exploded. In front of him is a giant mouse of unknown name. Standing in front is a barefoot girl with flowing hair, a pale face but silver hair, with strange red eyes different from humans, holding a red Higan flower. Bizarre and mysterious, the girl of the inferno says, "Don't be afraid, I am here to end the nightmare for you. Take this red Higan flower when you hold it in your hand and remove the petal. The person you choose will be expelled to hell for punishment, and your soul after death will fall into the heavenly realm to endure extreme pain. The decision is yours," Gurea said in a cold tone. This is all that happened to the girl of the dark land on my body. My right eye widened, my pupils shining blue. Looking at the curse on Gurea's body, he turned towards him. A blue light surrounds his right hand. An energy stream hits Gurea's chest. The curse on Gurea's chest becomes agitated and uneasy. Then it explodes, shattering the office window. At the same time, Yuan Zhenqi, far away, suddenly turns back to look at the principal's office. In this world, there are still many different owners. Isn't that interesting? Starting with family violence and bullying in school, the cursed death of Yuan Zhenqi also continues to increase. When the legend becomes a reality, the strange punishment increases the original sin. Perhaps the beauty will finally sprout widely in my life, as it has been greatly enhanced under the pressure of 2 urban script incidents. My body has been significantly strengthened, worthy of a legendary story. Through the eyes that see through, not only can I see the essence of this world, I have the ability to see through without being detected, even though I have been extremely careful. But still targeted by the Special Investigation Department. If they knew about the recent strange events related to me, they would surely be caught and divided. Fortunately, at a crucial moment, my 2 ghost roommates helped me solve the crisis. A powerful blow to the point of difficulty has saved me from danger, like escaping the pursuit of the Qingji Investigation Department. Qingji looked at the 3 strangers. Did he just feel wrong? But the feeling of being noticed by Lin Li could not be wrong. So I picked up my phone. "I am Qingji. Help me investigate if any student at Zhang High School owns Lin Li. Also, prepare a steamed beef dish for me at lunch today, place it on my desk. I urgently need more chili. I don't eat celery." While talking, I walked out of school. The 3 stood together in front of the Ghost Club's activity room when the door opened. A feeling of the 2-dimensional world suddenly arose. We're not a supernatural club after all. Why is the air filled with youthful energy everywhere? Hearing the 2 complain, making the club president worried about organizing club activities. Everything is the property of both of us that has been taken outside. England cannot help but thank us a bit. I have also prepared, at least I have written some supernatural stories. Immediately after that, the 2 had a great change in attitude towards supernatural stories. Pull it out for us to see. We are all the most loyal fans of the mystical novel. Looking at their small, hopeful eyes, one can't help but feel a little helpless. I am still thinking it's not perfect yet. How dare I show them? That's a novel that can kill people. At this point, the 2 pretended to be proud, pretending to ponder, and said, "We will find you some inspiration." After speaking, they opened a computer. There was a forum nearby called Mythical City appeared. The person confirmed dead goes by the name Hoang Tuyen. A girl who seems extremely shocking. Right, it's just a little too much, too creepy. It really surprises me too much. Actually, I wrote it. Should I tell them? Okay. Just let those two stores know. If they know, they might reveal me. When being investigated and cut for research, what should I do? But now the forum reports a network error, cannot access the server. Is it because the investigators intervened in closing the forum? If they really succeed, it will limit me from writing about Mythical City. I have found a way to increase longevity, absolutely can't let them succeed. Meanwhile, in the zombie investigation class. Now a ritual is taking place, my lifespan finally increases. But to continue my life is a death note unworthy of note. I use it to write about bizarre stories. Every time a criminal is punished, my life continues. But now someone is trying to stop all that. In the zombie investigation class, especially a secret ceremony is taking place. Qingqi is the one responsible is now separating the souls of the deceased, trying to set them free. A special scientific field. As the highest authority in security management specializing in handling strange events that the security agency cannot resolve, among them are those who specialize in collecting the souls of the deceased, as well as a big hand who deals with ghosts even when facing souls full of resentment from before they died. Keiji also has the ability to kill with just one blow. However, the strange events they are facing now make them confused because they do not know what to do, because the strange, incomprehensible to humans, is fundamentally an issue that cannot be resolved because the strange cannot be killed by humans and there are too many strange things reigning in the city. Even if they encounter them, they can only run away. The only method of the Special Science Department now is to limit the strangeness within a certain range, knowing that the girl from the Land of Darkness has used the Hell Communications method to kill people to prevent the increasing number of deaths they start to act. Block the Hell Communications forum link. When the current website link has been blocked and the final process of blocking requires a sacrifice from the Special Science Department to use soul power to initiate. The reason it's called a sacrifice is because the Special Science Department deals with strange events. Cannot avoid losses of life. To minimize the damage to the main staff, ordinary staff of the Special Science Department naturally become sacrifices. Iko U is the sacrifice to block the girl from the Land of Darkness. This time don't worry if you die. According to the family contract, you will receive a subsidy of 500 million. Iko U is now naturally a bit scared but can only raise a hesitant and trembling finger and listen to the biological father continue. Now you still have a choice, choose to leave this room or leave the Special Science Department. Iko U has become a member of the Special Science Department after a natural training process, not wanting to give up easily, and the possibility of death is not 100. She still hopes she can survive when the finger is near. Finally, he made a strong decision and pressed the enter key. A surge of spiritual force exploded the computer in the room, heading towards the two people, but was stopped by a gentle force, waiting until the smoke disappeared. The computer controlling Hell Communication remained intact in front of the screen, emitting white smoke. The screen blinked gently, opening its mouth to say that it was all resolved. It seemed that this strange event was not as complicated as we thought. But the snowflakes on the screen suddenly danced as if it were new data. Red lines slowly emerged, drawing out the 4 characters Hell Communication. In the strange cry of Po Xiao Yu, the face of a girl with empty eyes slowly appeared. My life had finally been enhanced. But the person in charge of the special class also began to doubt me. Luckily, they didn't know how I punished the wicked. When they thought that Huang Duang girl had been blocked, the screen once again showed the image as a warning not to trespass. Carefully staring at Huang Duang girl, could it be a warning? If it was indeed a warning, the special department might have encountered trouble. Hopefully, he hadn't lost his mind, so he took out his phone and made a call. Meanwhile, a red-haired girl, Rung En, answered the phone, still not forgetting to press a key on the control panel. What's up, Tin? I am busy playing games here, Rung En. I have a problem here and need your help in investigating the case of Huang Duang girl. Can't it be true? What could Tin not solve? I also have a case of eye murder waiting to be handled. Let's cooperate when trouble arises on Huang Duang's path. Meet at the old place. The machine cut with a gentle yet inspiring face. Perhaps these two incidents have something in common, and it all starts from the strong intention of Nguyen Chan Tu inside her. She felt a swirling, uncontrollable turmoil constantly hitting the table. The discomfort only lacked the act of writing on her face. Is the heart truly sealed by special department? If there's no strange event to help punish the initial sin, her humble life will end here. Only waiting until midnight to review the notes, and then everything is refreshed, just listening to a small fall. Right at midnight, the computer connection was successfully logged in. In fact, the website slowly appeared with the words "failed to close." Nguyen Chan Tu finally breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, Luckily, it seems that her remaining life in 90 days still has hope. Just hoping that the two people she met today are of the same kind like her, also intelligent spiritual owners, so she started searching but found no news about the special department, hoping they will give up punishing the wicked. It doesn't matter, just continue to cultivate soul power sitting in meditation, notes hanging in front of the chest, red light swirling deeply, one hand hanging in the space of the moving essence note. The swirling red blood light pushed the entire room. Suddenly she created a fireball in the palm of her hand aimed at the palm next, as if the whole person was spiritualized, the spirit and body comfortable, the soul becoming rigid unexpectedly. This cultivation flowed so smoothly. It made me break through to the second level of soul. The sense of humiliation layer was clearer. Oh, what is that under the feeling of the soul? The wardrobe seemed to have someone staring at her. Could it be that those strange eyes have come back to life from before? So this little one is awake. Let's take a closer look at you. You found your friend but didn't rush out to be loved, did you? You and Gen C couldn't resist opening the paper box and peeking inside. Just a rustle and the box closed again. You're beautiful, don't be like this. What are you worried about? You are the monster yourself. While talking, she even exuded a breath like a goddess. Holding the paper box, murmuring incessantly. You exist because of me, worrying is my job. Let me see how you look. But as soon as it opened, you and Gen C stood stunned. Then kicked the box hard. How ugly. Why so ugly like this? After 2.5 years, I created a terrifying abnormal monster, but now it has turned into a small octopus that loves to watch Maka Baka. I immediately performed a Thomas full rotation on him. Ugly yet likes beauty. Every day just thinking about cheating and drinking, not doing the main work. Such monsters should be punished. Luckily, the child still knows that I am the master. Constantly calling for mom, which makes me feel relieved. If not, the only option left is to cook you into soup. I wonder if keeping you close is a good thing. Or should I just eat and think later? In the end, eating comes first. So I devoured the tasteless bowl of noodles. But just then, I remembered that as soon as I picked up the phone, from the other side came a pig-killing scream. Yuan Gen C, where did the little rascal run off to? Quickly open the link I sent you. Click on the link, let me help you chop it in one go. Don't look at me like that, I still have to eat noodles. The phone on the other side continues to scream. Oh my god, chop it in one go. Have you ever thought about cooking without a host revealing the rules of killing of the girl in the abyss? Everyone on the internet is waiting to see. Watch after speaking, hung up the phone, leaving me standing in disbelief. I want to see what the host wants to reveal. Click on the link to see. Welcome to my live TV room, Magic Boy here. I will help you discover the real secrets of the girl in the abyss. I believe many of you have encountered messages from hell but have never seen the girl in the abyss. So, do you think she doesn't exist? Right, just in a second, a loud laugh came out of his mouth. He stood up coldly and said, you were wrong. To meet the girl in the abyss, you must have strong hatred in your heart. He suddenly brought the screen closer, sighed, and continued that only when you reach the end can you meet the girl in the abyss. I couldn't help but laugh looking at the screen, saying it seems attractive. I really want to see if you can summon her and those who are interested in this live broadcast. There are also special people waiting under the host's floor. Qing and Hongying are holding phones, looking intently at the host. Everyone is ready. The target is apartment 404 in the Young District, ready to cut off the live broadcast. Immediately captured next to him is Mr. Hongying meeting Ms. Qing. Do you think the host's words are correct? Can he summon the girl in the abyss? Currently, it is still too early to conclude, but it is not impossible. The girl in the abyss is a strange creature that absorbs the will of the moon pendant to kill people. Just don't know if this host can summon or not. But even if successful in summoning the girl in the abyss, it is not certain that she can survive. Those who are familiar with the rules and can survive are more normal than some supervisors with abilities. Nguyen Chan too is the one who understands the rules the best, after all the bizarre murder cases, all written by him. You have said a lot. I believe there are still many who do not believe in me, so I will prove it with real actions for you to see. Look closely. After finishing speaking, he pressed enter. Immediately, the local media network connected smoothly, comments from viewers flooding the screen. At that moment, the broadcaster also spat out a bit of saliva. Clearly, he is also somewhat afraid. He continues to intentionally commit murder. So he turns his back, reading the name out loud without showing it to you. Wait a moment, you will see the Fire Phoenix Maiden appear. After saying his name, he turns to look at the computer screen carefully. He is getting braver step by step, moving towards the computer, his eyes fixed on the screen. At that moment, he remembered past grievances, trying to torture his enemies, but at his limit, he growled and clicked the mouse to send a message, immediately ending the broadcast. Only comments are still flooding the screen, viewers seem bewildered. It didn't end like this, did it? It's all over. Isn't it better read a comic to relieve stress? A moment later, cursing erupted as people read up to this point. I decided to open the diary to read further. But suddenly, the computer in front of me lights up, showing a doomsday sunset. The thing that confuses me is that above my head, a ghostly figure appears, staring intently. That's the Fire Phoenix Maiden. How did she end up here? I wrote about the Fire Phoenix Maiden with my whole life. But now she has become a tool used by someone to use a knife towards me. So now she wants to lead me into hell. Right, the Fire Phoenix Maiden's cold eyes contain no emotions, but she doesn't touch me. Instead of that, summoning flowers on the other side are burning hot. The hands holding my cute crystal are burning. My ability comes from you. You are an existence outside the law. I can't confront you, but someone has written your name in a hell message. The contract has been signed. But you can decide the outcome, cancel the contract or send the provoker directly to hell. Hearing this, I couldn't help but secretly sigh. No one is not afraid of death. If you really wrote yourself out of life for an error in the law, then there is no other way. Fortunately, the direction of events is not like that. Because I am the one who established the laws, so I want to know who wrote my name on the hell message, pushing me to the brink of death. Let the girl from the past continue, saying, the person who wrote it is someone named Tan Xiao Shan. I don't know who this person is, I have never heard anyone before. But once the laws are established, someone has to take responsibility. I want to meet the person named Tan Xiao Shan. To understand why they wrote my name. Okay, adult, I will take you to the riverbank immediately. After that, the flowers on the other side bloomed in her hand. A red light shines, every time it appears, we come on a leaf boat. The surroundings are brightly lit, the flowery bank glowing, and the Fong Min River deathly quiet. Tan Xiao Shan sits back on the boat, his eyes full of fear. You are not the one who implements the contract to send Nguyen Chantu to hell. Right, how did I end up here? But the cold girl rows the boat alone. The only light is the lantern beside her shining towards the front. Are you Tan Tiu Sun? A demonic mask facing Tan Tiu Sun made him horrified and retreat deeply behind a voice full of fear. Tell me, why did you write the name Yuan Zhenxi on the infernal letter? Hearing him frightened, why did you ask me? Isn't the one appearing here Yuan Zhenxi? Immediately, countless dark spirit snakes surrounded Tan Tiu Sun's body as the girl Hoang Qian walked towards him, bowing her head ominously, saying, answer the question of the elder, want you? Then you can die right now. And then a large hand threw Tan Tiu Sun immediately into the center of the Min River towards the endless inferno. The sudden sensation of weightlessness of death overwhelmed him and he screamed, I said, the black snake dragged him down. Back on the boat now, you can continue. Initially, when Tan Tiu Sun was bullied for the first time, Yuan Zhenxi saved him from the troublemakers. Small things like that. Yuan Zhenxi naturally didn't notice. Instead, because of this incident, she wrote about Hoang Qian, the missing girl, to punish the school violence. But the second time when she saw Tan Tiu Sun being bullied to check the secrets of the special class, she chose not to help. This situation further wounded Tan Tiu Sun. The nature of human beings is such that some may thank you for the help, but if you give too much and create dependence. Once the help stops, instead of gratitude, it makes them regret. Tan Tiu Sun has tasted the sweetness of the rice grain, but now has lost half of it. Of course, he regrets and writes the name Yuan Zhenxi on the infernal letter. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. Is that why Tan Tiu Sun regrets Yuan Zhenxi? No. Even though I am unruly, I like freedom, but I don't have a son. Do you recognize the child in this photo? A careful look, suddenly a weak light appears. The child died 2 months ago, you killed him with your own hands, didn't you? A minute later, black martial arts master dragged Qin Xiao Shan to the Huyanha River, suffering from the mental erosion. On the other side, in the main office of the magic agency, Ellie and Hong An are staring intently at the host lying face down. Right now, Ellie looks at the jade barrel in hand. Isn't that the protective object of the Queen of Power? Except for a slightly cold feeling, there doesn't seem to be anything special. Hong An tries his power by surrounding the jade barrel, but it's not effective. So he asks, why don't you try it? Haha, no problem. It seems that this flower is only effective for Tong Han Nyan. Last time, I tried to steal a curse from a student's body, but my eyes told me that if I did that, I would surely die. So let's take them back inside, and then plan again. 2 people forced the program host to lie on the floor and dragged him. The official notes have also officially stopped updating the next part, but in my soul, I am still not at peace. I still remember. Why not try gently sneezing once? If you're okay, then it's good. It seems like this type of flower only affects Sung Han Nyan. Last time, I tried to extract a curse from within a student's body, but my eyes told me that If I do that, I'll surely die. They pull harder and harder, the student life streaming beneath the floor. The official notes have also stopped updating, but in my mind, I am still not at peace. I still remember. Today, a tragedy is unfolding within me. If only I had chosen to help before, would the tragedy continue? This is a matter I must face. This accurately reflects a saying today: if we only know how to look coldly from afar, tomorrow it may come close to us. No one will cheer for us if we only gaze coldly. Chaos still reigns in the air above the city while I, a strange supervisor, dare not neglect even a bit. All my life I have sought redemption for life, but now my current life has become worthless. I try to punish evil in the world with strange laws, but I am also a kind of evil. What I feared the most has happened according to the observation from the special room notes. They have targeted my little supernatural classmate. Special Room is an organization specialized in dealing with strange phenomena. They brought Magic Boy to the special room without resorting to violence, instead, they detained him. It is noteworthy that the name Magic Boy wrote on the room directly is actually my close friend, Shang Zhen. It's just a coincidence with Qin Zhao Shan. At this moment, the special room is interrogating another person, while that person is cursing Red Ying incessantly, always muttering words related to interior. Listening from the other side, the rich vocabulary contains sweetness. Unable to contain himself, I asked Red Ying, "What did you do to make a normal person resent you like that?" Red Ying helplessly replied, "I killed his daughter." Speaking of that, it happened when I joined the special room. At that time, I had just awakened, but discovered his daughter emitting a strange aura. You also know his parents were killed by a strange person. So I was extremely disgusted with the strange aura. I found his daughter and killed her. More accurately, before I found her, she was already dead. She was tortured to death by the strange until her last breath. A man next to him became so angry that he hit the ground. The man who killed my daughter, Hong An, stood up and walked towards the man, then kicked the chair with the phone, pointed at the man, and said, "Yes, you are the murderer. If you truly hate me so much, write my name in the contacts book with hell. I will go to hell." The man shouted. Finally, he admitted. Then he turned and pointed to everyone in the room. "These useless people, why don't you take him away? Is this the spirit of punishing evil and doing good of you? Where is justice and righteousness?" Hong An did not pay attention, instead turned around and said, "You all go out first." Soon after, everyone left the room, leaving only Hong An and the man. Thatch Tun asked, "Did we just go out like that?" "Need help?" Thatch Tu said softly. "In the special department, there is a death file. Just put the image in there and write the name and date of birth of the person, and they will die immediately." So both Hong An and I usually use codes only. Only the head of the special department knows our names. So we don't know Hong An's name either. The man in the room is not it. Fold up your possessive and selfish spirit. The special department does not need that kind of thing. The Mont's words affirm that the man helping Hong An contact the girl in the blue prison will die later. At that moment, everyone in the room heard the noise. An unusual red light began to appear from somewhere in the room. Thatch Tu quickly opened his right eye. His blue eyes stared intently at the room, and in an instant, the environment changed. Thatch Tu was overwhelmed by the sight of the red higanbana flowers conveying a message on the riverbank, illuminated by the bloody sunset shadow of the man after contacting the higanbana flowers also gradually disappeared. There was only one girl who remained aloof from all that was happening. Suddenly, her twin pupils shifted strongly towards Quang Chat. A great pressure rushed in, attacking in the midst of panic. Quang Chat quickly nullified the perception of his right eye. He turned back to the outside of the door. A slap punctuated the air, as if this was the only way to alleviate the fear within. He sighed, turned his head to look at Tri Tuan. Just as he was about to say something, he caught a glimpse of darkness behind her. Seeing the red and green eyes staring back at him, devoid of any emotion, seemed to be Quang Chat's instinctive warning, telling him that revealing the form of the girl, Hoang Duong, now would surely lead to his demise. After a long while, Quang Chat finally breathed a sigh of relief. Everyone rushed in to show their concern beforehand. Behind, he pushed the door open and stepped into the dimly lit room. A man gazed intently at the hellflower in his hand, almost dissolving, his whole body trembling in helplessness, while Hong An lay on the ground, not a breath in sight. Immediately after, the scene shifted to the underwater of Yumin River, reflecting a circle of blood red. Hong An's soul was bound by black smoke like serpents to an immovable stone. Is this hell? It doesn't look that bad. Binding oneself, is it a temporary death sentence? Suddenly, a face drew closer, focusing intently on Hong Uong. That person was Hoang Duong, the young girl from Nguyen Trin, observing everything in the battle. The heart decides, for you have wagered with life to understand the secrets of the girl, Hoang Duong. So, let's see it through. At that moment, Hoang Duong pressed her finger down. The wound on Hong An's forehead made her soul tremble violently. It felt like falling into a river under the feet of tens of thousands of black snakes rushing to pull her down. The icy water carried her soul away as if wanting to erase her breath. Meanwhile, a large demon face with boundless power was directed towards Hong Am. In the sky of the mysterious river, there was only a red lantern still shining. Hanging on the lantern's tail was a bell emitting a mysterious sound. Like a lock on her soul, the powerful princess on the outside was actually a small, innocent ghost. Not only providing quality interaction but also knowing how to use everything cleverly. I told the baby that next time, can she not scare anyone? Look at you, you look beautiful, pure, and charming. Why do you have to turn into a demon like that? Special members only come to gather information. Let's learn how to show kindness, baby. The obedient baby looked up and nodded. Hong An, who was originally about to be swallowed, suddenly woke up and found herself on a leaf boat, still bound by thousands of black snakes. And the fallen girl de Monteris on the wooden boat discovered something. Hong Am turned to look at a black figure appearing before him. That was the soul of Institute Yuan Chan after upgrading to the second level. Just by transmitting the spirit into the institute, he could enter the world within the institute. Looking at Hong Am on the boat, it seemed that the special institute had not yet found the truth. They would not easily let go. Let them face their fears. After speaking, he looked sharply at Hong An. In the blink of an eye, she opened her eyes wide, feeling like her soul was covering her whole body. Like a large hand tightly gripping its own neck, the feeling of suffocation slowly rises. Courage, bravery, or willpower, everything is gradually being worn down, then the small boat merges into the broken mountain wall. Princess Hoang Tuyen jumps down into the abyss of hell. Hong An, along with the boat, falls into the real hell. A moment later, Hong An opens her eyes strongly and returns to the Tan Tri Special School where Trong Dak Biat Tan Tri and Tri Tu An are standing guard at Tham Chao. Have you been outside yet? Hong An puts her hand on her head and whispers. I have met Princess Hoang Tuyen, who is much scarier than I imagined. I was tied up by black snakes, she led me wandering on a hidden river. Until reaching the waterfall, I fell down where it was the real hell. There, all my senses were blurred, feeling like a lonely ghost about to die. At that moment, seeing the figure under Tae Hua's feet suddenly broken, that was his magic light bulb. It turns out he just used the light bulb as a substitute for himself once. Hong An's head hurts more, feeling he is warning her. Princess Hoang Tuyen must have consciousness. What's most frightening is that I feel like he is constantly staring at me. I am like a puppet in his hands, letting him manipulate freedom. Even recalling the strange darkness I saw at the door is also a warning. Alright, Hong An doesn't need to remember this anymore, it's not something we can intervene in. When the mysterious has consciousness, it must be reported to the higher UPS. On the other side, Veen Chan Tu and Tui are sitting quietly among the roses. The next part slowly appears on the death note. Finally, Xiao Ai was identified as a disaster and bizarre. Look at how you scared them and labeled them like that. Even too hastily labeled them as disasters. But why didn't Tan Wai die? Could it be that the rule I wrote has a loophole he can't escape? According to your rules, the contract has been signed, his soul is in hell. The fact that Yen Chan doesn't understand how he escaped. But it's not too important. Even Xiao Ai discovered new writings appearing in the subtitles. Unable to contain her emotions, she saved Yen Chan by gently stroking his sleeve. Creating a different dream for two people, a book about what is a god. The girl in prison and the bazaar are marked by the Special Agency for Elimination. The head of the special agency, Kong Bin, after learning that the girl in prison was conscious and trying to take advantage of inheriting the world. Tell me, if the god swallows the fallen girl, what changes will happen? The answer received. Even though the power of the god will become stronger, but Kong Bin knows that his power is not enough. He can only contact the highest advisory board. The highest advisory board is the highest commanding center of the special agency. All details must go through their decision. Advisory Board for Life opposes the plan to swallow the fallen girl. If the god continues to grow, we cannot solve this problem. The special agency will fall into a directly passive situation. Since the fallen girl became conscious, why don't we try to negotiate with her life advisory? You're thinking too simple. Even if we negotiate with the fallen girl, can we be sure that no one will die? Everyone is clear about the fallen girl's killing rules. The fallen girl signed a contract with deeply resentful people. The contract signer must break the case. But if this is just an external rule, then when he is conscious, is the rule holder himself, not him. The special department has no potential. His methods do not exist. The basic condition for peaceful coexistence. The special department absolutely does not accept the existence of strange beings capable of thought. If even the gods cannot kill the girl Hong Gun, reconsider your perspective. Veen Tran Tu and Tiu Nagi stare intently at the Death Note pair, not understanding what the gods are. Is it another kind of strangeness when things cannot be understood? They can only be abandoned. Accept everything calmly towards the other side of the door. The Soul Association is full of students, each one groaning to meet the girl Hong Gun. Shattered dreams of 20 years of single life, never meeting ghosts. Surely that was last night. The Queen's young lady was live on TV. The results were lost. They couldn't meet the girl Hong Gun. Suddenly everyone came to join the Soul Association eagerly. Finally, the Queen's young lady forum post was made from here. Anyone who knows the strange existence in the world without curiosity. Veen Tran has granted 2 members to avoid being robbed, forced to flee frantically, and finally escaped. Since the Soul Association has become so lively, couldn't help but laugh hearing the clumsy flirting downstairs. 3 people just nodded unclearly, or a figure appeared from the stairs. My name is Tan Hoi, can I join the Soul Association? Li Trung hung nervously. You're not the school's beauty. Both quickly stepped forward, shining faces. The Soul Association welcomes you without a missing soul like this, but you haven't filled out the membership form. Can you? Oh dear. Tan Hoi, schoolmate. Nice to meet you. You are now a member of the Soul Association. Remember to become our family or add a WeChat account to understand each other better. Oh. Do these 2 need to be so close? The dog's lick ultimately amounts to nothing, but at this point, the necklace in your heart begins to heat up. Perhaps this girl is in trouble. What message did your phone receive that strange black objects appear? My friend, Sin, I dare ask. Who are you talking to? Are you asking about this? This is a WeChat group that has been popular recently. It's called Your Turn. Here you can create or join a group directly or by keyword. Just enter the code in the comment box to join the chat group. Do you want to join? Everyone likes to share their stories here. It's quite interesting. Finally, you can also show empathy and understand others' emotions, like a nutrient. It's strange but fun. Just don't know who is stronger between my little friend and me. After returning home, seeing the small dancing eye, Yen Si gently opens the Death Note. When he sees the warning in the book about a special department, stay away from the difference. Stay away from the special department. Don't be curious. This is a good reminder, or is it a sudden phone vibration? It turns out to be a message from the new group that Yen Si just joined today. Invite to join the chat group with 3 people. Yen Si is puzzled. He didn't feel the attack from behind by the small eye, just saw it scream and jump up, then crouch behind him using his sleeve to cover his eyes. What is the small eye going to do? Is it preparing a surprise for him? The rest of the small eye turns into liquid and reassembles into a body crawling forward. The tiny body seems to be a few centimeters shorter than the tea table. Exhausted, he gasps for air, his small hand finally reaching the edge of the table. After trying his best, he manages to climb up. With bated breath, a scream escaped Yuan Zhensi's lips as he saw the small eyes revert to their original form. Yuan Zhensi was equally confused, thinking it was too ugly, so it's better to let it go. As the red light faded away, the image of the small eyes became irresistibly captivating, making people unable to resist being enchanted, soft and sharp. Who wouldn't want to embrace it, so he immediately hugged it. Your small eyes have evolved into the strange things everyone was expecting. Outside an abandoned factory in the suburbs of Jiang City, Yuan Zhensi and 2 of his companions entered. What kind of weird place is this? Surrounded by a cemetery or ancient tomb area, just playing games, why run to such a desolate place? Walking 3 miles, their feet were almost broken. Gen C, stop complaining, this is our first time organizing a team building, and there is also a beautiful girl with us. Right now. Bad omens appeared in sight. Sorry for being late. The 2 turned around surprised. Is this the goddess coming? Hello. I am Te Luhai, nice to meet you. The 2 were surprised, feeling that the flowers in their hands were no longer as colorful as before. Their hearts like a wordless big wave. On their first date, Chi Ke-hu was like this already. Even in a desolate place, you can still hear the classic song Snow Falling, Cold Winter Wind. The 2 singles are back on the air. Yuan Zhensi felt a bit suspicious, everything seemed off. Unable to hold back, he asked, I'll tell you a game where anyone in the group can swear at the game negatively. Why did we have to come here? I immediately explained, it's your turn now. There's a more advanced way to play. I feel that coming here to play will be suitable for our supernatural club. A Gen C has arrived, and I also feel that playing here will be more interesting. Don't let yourself be drawn in every time. This is not a good place. Don't forget about the Fire Sun Girl's existence. Perhaps this is also a mysterious and dangerous place. I personally advise you to stay away. Li Trung Tram, angry that you came here but gave up, that's not making our occult association lose face. Holding the hem tightly. If Ro doesn't want to play, it's fine. There are too many people playing, it makes me feel like I am endangering others. Feeling sad on his own, bowing his head, shortening the first tap, starting to come up with new exploration ideas here, feeling not bad. Did everyone think of reconsidering? Little Fat is angry, anyway, I am sure he'll join. Otherwise, this lovesickness can't be relieved. But Yuan Chan too, are you scared anyway? You're the chairman of the occult association. Yuan Chan too just sighed, so let's play with you guys. Thinking about repaying the debt if I weren't here. The others here would probably be at greater risk hopefully. This choice is right and then everyone goes towards the abandoned building, footsteps echoing in the empty building, hearts breaking. Sad state. I will explain the rules to you. This game is called Your Turn. We have 5 people, each holding a floor of the building. The game starts from the first floor. The person on the first floor goes to find the person on the second floor, then tells their supernatural story. After telling, return to the original floor and wait for the person on the floor above to find you and tell their story in never-ending loop. Each person becomes a listener. For the storyteller, that means the person on the 5th floor will tell whoever is listening. We don't have a 6th person. The heart continues to explain. The person on the 5th floor just needs to go down to the first floor to find the person on the first floor. If there are no issues, let's start. And for the storyteller, it's like that. The person who goes down to the 5th floor will tell whoever is listening. We don't have a 6th person. The heart will continue to explain. The person going down to the 5th floor just needs to go down to the first floor to find the person on the first floor. If there are no issues, let's start. We drew lots and Xiao Bei drew number 1. At that moment, from a distance, we saw Li Trung Hung standing with his back to the stairs, visibly trembling. Xiao Bei suddenly hit him hard on the shoulder, making him startle. Aren't you scared? This old man is still afraid at this age. Li Trung Hung turned around and realized it was Xiao Bei, feeling relieved. Oh, it's just you. You scared me to death with that number. Alright, I'll start telling. In the house, there were 3 siblings. One day, the eldest brother drowned. But on that same night, the second brother also died. Do you know why? Because Zhang San liked to sleep in the middle. So that night, he split himself in half, left and right, to be able to sleep in the middle. Haha, have you never heard of the turtle soup? You should go learn more. Go on, the bun-haired girl is waiting for you. On the 5th floor of Mun Chan Temple, a lonely figure sat in the empty room. The phone had run out of battery after a long time of leading the way. When the shadow of Tan Hoi appeared, the hungry person said, the phone is dead. Can you turn on the flashlight for me? Sure. I am number 4. Tan Hoi was ready to listen to my story. What's the matter? It feels like someone has changed completely, but can't tell what the difference is. So, he stood up and said, start your performance. One rainy night, a girl with 4 boys ran in the rain. But when they arrived, the 4 boys were all soaked, only the girl wasn't. Do you know why? After thinking for a while, Nguyen Chan coldly said, because the girl is dead, and the 4 boys are just pallbearers. How can a girl lying in a coffin get wet from the rain? Tan Hoi clapped. Number 5 guessed it right. Have you thought carefully about your story? Guard number 1 is waiting for you on the first floor. Of course, I have thought carefully. Why don't you come down with me? Xin Wei just kept shaking her head. I still have to go back to the 4th floor. I can't break the rules. Those who break the rules will be pushed back by the rules themselves. Things are getting stranger and stranger. Go down and see what's going on. Why haven't we met anyone along the way? Have they been scared and left only when Yuan Zhenxi leaves the big building? Do people feel angry? The game rules are not to wait on the initial floor. Right? Why did everyone go outside? And didn't you just say you wanted to go back to the 4th floor? Hearing this, everyone suddenly shuddered. What is this situation? Xin Wei never made it to the 5th floor. Everyone was scared, so they ran outside. And who was the one talking to me? I used to create strange events to punish evil, but now I am also caught up in this conflict. Initially, I was always strong against strange events, but now I am also caught up in a game. I am in a difficult situation, but to protect the lives of the 5 people here, I can only hide the truth and try to avoid the attacks of strange events. Do you feel scared yet? Is my acting skill good? Did I just fool you? Tiu Bao is angry. Yuan Zhenxi, are you sick? You are about to scare the little girl. I still say Xin Wei never comes to the 5th floor. Li Trung Tam also shows anger. This kid seems to have to experience your last skill, the feeling of 1,000 years. Why are you all so excited? We're not here to play games, right? Only when it's exciting is it interesting, right? So come closer to Xin Wei and continue. If you want to play, find me. I will guide you in the best way. What's truly bizarre is it that the new group is being continually driven by Nguyen Chan Tu's actions, constantly retreating, blushing from shyness. Deep down, Nguyen Chan Tu is full of doubt. His reaction, not pretending, is the person who told the story on the 5th floor. It's not really him, but if it's not him, then who is it? Could there really be something bizarre that hasn't been discovered yet? Or is it better to leave early? So he turns around and says, if you're afraid, you can hide at the occult association. Finally, after all the main characters in the movie die, I don't mind if you come to seek shelter together to avoid the cold, forget your fears, and your heart will refuse. Holding your hair and pulling, saying no need, I feel a little uncomfortable, it's better to go home and rest. Pulling hair, will you take me home? Of course, I am a kind and empathetic young man. Such warm feelings make the heart of a single person shatter on the ground. The middle finger of the weird game also makes everyone intend to leave. When turning back to leave the building, Nguyen Chan too is still full of suspicion, paying no attention to the conversation of the two next to you. What's wrong here if the heart doesn't lie? Then who exactly is tried Tim? But suddenly, a strange breath from behind directly hits Nguyen Chan 2's heart. Nguyen Chan 2 suddenly turns around. Who's there? Nu Hoi or pulling hair? He'll go back and see two people behind her in a hurry. Where are you going? There are only 3 of us here. Who are Nu Hoi and pulling hair? The necklace attached to Nguyen Chan 2's chest has started to glow red at this point, a hindrance filling the memory of the mind. I want to go back and see the 2 people behind me, asking quickly, where are you going? There are only 3 of us here. Who are the knight and the demon? Lu Hai in Nguyen Chan 2's chest. The necklace with a tablet is glowing red. A feeling of resistance pervades the memory. So my heart and Lu Hai's. Finally, who are we? Why is the memory starting to fade away? Only seeing him quickly running back to the abandoned building. The building is still calm and terrifying. Inside, feeling the heat from the glowing necklace. The heart pounding once again to be cautious. First, call Xiao Ai out first. If not able to fall into the ranks of martyrs, however, this time the effort was met with complete silence. The surroundings remained extremely quiet, as if an invisible force was preventing communication between the laptop and the late queen of Nguyen dynasty. Little I couldn't call out. The situation became a bit more difficult. So quickly flipped through the notebook, unaware that a blurry ghostly figure is approaching from behind. Footprints of blood red relentlessly pacing back and forth. Bare footsteps becoming clearer. Hearing footsteps, Nguyen Chan thought he was startled. Quickly turn your head back but see no traces. Emotions of tension arise without warning. With Tui not by your side, panic sets in. No time to experience. Sweat drips down your forehead. The building remains serene. No sound to be heard. Phone out of battery, not even a flashlight. Unable to call for help, Thu Nu Hoang Nguyen can only quietly pack up the notebook. But at that moment, a dark and eerie sound echoes in your ears. Want to die? Have you come to guide me? A dark ghostly figure stares intently towards Nguyen Chan. His eyes stared at Nguyen Chan, then a cold call with a frequency of over 5000 Hz echoed in his head, indescribably painful. What is this? He suddenly slapped his face and knelt on the ground. Under the attack of soul-crushing pain, you feel like you are being crushed. Memories of the 5-person game slowly vanish, disappearing completely. It seems like none of this should exist. Every familiar figure. As the memories of Nguyen Chan 2's gaze gradually fade away after a long period of incessant rambling, the question why am I here lingers. After the girl under hell was marked with the label of disaster. The special department of the undead has no choice but to enhance their abilities. In order to reduce the mortality rate, they can only choose to deal with another strange story, which is the small eye in the gap. However, they do not know that the small eye is also Nguyen Chan 2. The strangeness that C has created is gradually becoming conscious. Throwing the photo into Hong An's hands after receiving orders from superiors regarding the girl under hell incident being temporarily postponed. Next, we need to address the issue of the strange shadow causing the death of the abusive man. Hong An receives the photo from Mrs. Lan, her superior, proposing how to resolve the girl under hell incident. Faced with the level of shadow of the girl under hell, only when there is no other way, perhaps the superiors can only choose that path. And the method they mention is the divine birth from the traditional world. These are not things we need to worry about. The advisory team above will handle it. And they have begun to stop the girl under hell by using the internet to highlight and gradually diminish her attraction and communication with the local area. It is believed that under the attack of the information age, the attraction of the girl under hell will gradually decrease until no one pays attention to her anymore. But when someone dies, it will always attract attention, right? Relying on some rumors to restrain the development of the girl under hell is impossible. This world is selfish. Under the strange rules, everyone fears for themselves, but as long as tragedy does not happen to oneself, who will care today? One person is missing. Let's go and catch the person spreading the image of the eye, preserving the image of the eye, then the strange eye will no longer cause any disturbances. As Hong An gazed at that picture, just a quick glance sent shivers down her spine. How could someone enjoy the eerie feeling of those bloodshot eyes? Just looking at it made her want to vomit. In an independent residential house on the outskirts, a man was tied to a chair with Hong An. The man, named Tan Kai, propped his foot up and asked, "Did you take these photos?" Hong An. She took the sock out of the man's mouth, which had unraveled into pieces. Tan Kai, who also worked at a theater as a side job, now looked at the two with fearful eyes. "I didn't kill anyone, I only took 2 photos. Be honest with me. If you lie, half of your body parts will part ways with you. Now tell me the reason and consequence of taking those photos. Explain every detail. If there's any deceit, you'll part ways with your body parts." After speaking, she pointed at the man's lower region, 3 inches below. The man, terrified, found this person even more dreadful than me. Immediately, he confessed, "I'll tell you everything. It all started with a friend of mine, named Xiao Mei, a serial killer. Once, I visited his house and we had a pleasant chat. But that's irrelevant. When I wanted to use the restroom, I heard noises from the wardrobe. Curiosity drove me to find out what was inside. And I opened it. What shocked me was a deformed doll in the wardrobe, causing chaos and strangeness. Initially, I just wanted to live well, but seeing too much injustice in the world, living is no longer my sole purpose. Therefore, the consciousness of Little I and Little Nyan emerged, hoping to fill the void of justice in this world. But they were still labeled and erased by the special department. However, they did not know that even if Little I was destroyed, I could still use the Death Note to recreate him. But due to unfortunate coincidence, I fell into another bizarre world. A bizarre world called Your Turn. The continuous loss of memory made me realize that I might be close to death. Creating bizarre things to send villains to hell. There's no reason why another bizarre world can't kill me. But what I didn't expect was that the comic stopped here, forcing me to praise the author as a talented person. But out of respect for the creativity of the comic and novel, I can't reveal it to everyone temporarily. Hope everyone understands. Feng Tu thanks everyone for their support. Your encouragement is the motivation for me to move forward. Comics will be updated regularly every Thursday. If you can't wait, you can read the novel first. Let's wait together for the comic update. You can freely discuss. Sharing your own supernatural story. Surely no one can resist the attraction of a supernatural story. Are you ready? It's your turn. I have created a bizarre story about life and death, but still invaded by a strange bizarre. The memory fragment in the brain shattered. I feel like a dead body wandering in this desolate building. The world started raining heavily, like a declaration of death. Nguyen Chan Tu drew a body that kept moving upstairs. Bloody footprints are following him, but he is unconscious, just a stiff body moving slowly. Mouth wide open, he wants to die. His entire eye sockets are occupied by twisted ropes, seductive in an irregular manner. Like a chaotic black yarn, the necklace in his hand glows with a red light. It is the eyebrow sword connected to the notebook, true. In an instant, his eyes become clear, his white eyes restore their sharpness, as if realizing something, he quickly turns his head and fiercely swings his left arm. A punch struck the weird figure behind, then he ran hurriedly towards the stairs. He must leave immediately, or he will really die. While running, he called the Fire Phoenix Maiden and Little Nha to summon them. But the necklace had no reaction. But while running, his body froze on the stairs. Then the sound of the screeching sand arose as if a monster had been thrown and was slowly crawling towards him. His soul could clearly feel something staring intently from behind. But his body couldn't move at all. The phone ran out of battery. Suddenly a dark figure appeared on the screen. A strange voice sounded, "Dear student number 5, where do you want to go? What are you? Why am I here? Here, you've already forgotten me too quickly. You are a heartless human. I am the 4th Student Union, I can even tell you a story." Then the image of the Student Union appeared and suddenly turned into a cluster of dark shadows laughing step by step. "Quickly come to the 5th floor for a reunion. It's your turn now." Just finished saying, the 3rd floor sign suddenly fell to the 5th floor. In a blur, Chan Tu showed a sinister expression. The main reason is that the environment around has changed. In front, there were many coffins with 4 people lying peacefully, all waiting for you. Quickly become one of them. As soon as the words ended, the person in the coffin opened their eyes full of light. Little Fatty woke up inside the 9-fold gate, filled with fear. The clown is actually himself. 3 figures emerge from the coffin. What has happened to them? Are they all dead? Then, a strange scene unfolds. The 3 turn their heads in a strange way, rotating 180 degrees to look towards Nguyen Chan Tu, Li Chung Tam, Little Fatty, and Su Lu Hai. What has happened to you all? Wake up. Memories of the past make him speak their names without knowing. A hazy feeling once again overwhelms him. How can he remember their names? The images in his memory become faint, as if wiped clean by black ink. In such a state, he cannot help but doubt if he has always been living alone. The three form a circle around Nguyen Chan Tu. You are not alone. We are all good friends. Join us. Nguyen Chan Tu slowly loosens his grip on the necklace. Finally, the necklace falls, and the body is covered in black threads. Under mutual invasion, they lose consciousness. The necklace falls and shatters. From start to finish, Xiao Ai and Xiao Nha do not appear. Along with Nguyen Chan Tu's body, they are sucked into the black gate, which closes slowly. Ending in a perfect way. It's just the beginning. Endings are never that easy. Remember the deformed child in the closet in another apartment building. Someone knocks on the door. The door is opened by a woman in a black dress, who makes noise in the late night, disrupting everyone's sleep. Truly heartless. Seeing the man who was once happy with her being affectionate with two other women, the two women beside him become silent. When the army arrived, did you say little beauty was right? We are special investigation agents, here to ask you a few questions. The woman immediately became shocked. Her attitude completely changed, quickly inviting three other people into the two commanding positions. Why come so late and still come looking for me? I haven't taken any jobs for a long time. The army didn't turn back. We don't care whether you take the job or not. We came to investigate your son. Little beauty blushed and laughed, commanding jokingly. Although I am carefree and love freedom, I have no son. Do you recognize the child in this photo? A closer look. Suddenly a faint light appears dimly. Just 2 months ago, the child died. You killed it yourself, didn't you? Captain, I couldn't have killed my child. It was dead when I got home. I had no intention. There were guests so I couldn't scare them. I had no intention. I also want to live. Where should I bury it? Transferred to the outskirts of Zhang. The excavated body was decomposed to a completely destroyed state. Most of the body has turned into white bones. Would a small child like that buried in this deserted field still be human? Hongam doesn't understand. Sister Tin, do you think that woman is truly repentant? Finally, she said she wanted to raise the child. How can she repent? Do you expect a woman completely engulfed in money can change in her eyes? There is only money. This child certainly didn't die naturally. On the child's body in the picture are many obvious wounds. It was he who ended the child's life. But he will face the consequences. Finally, I showed him the eye picture. Surely he will not have good days in the future. The desperate cries of the woman through the old neck, save me. Look at the amount of eyes. Turn around and tell the police that I want to remind you that this woman may be trying to use a mental illness to get a suspended sentence. Never let her succeed. Or is Qing Da Jia still better? This child has endured prolonged abuse. That's why it became strange. Punishing family abusers in this world from mild to desperate. Let's take the child's body to a resting place. Only hope this world will be much less violent than it is beautiful. Good and bad will eventually have consequences according to the heavenly doctrine. And I, the one who used supernatural power to kill, have truly tasted the taste of death. But I survived. Just not long ago, a ponytailed girl stood in the rain, staring intently at the dilapidated building in front of her. This building is where they disappeared. I saw her constantly writing something with a pen, muttering why it hadn't come out yet. Then she took out a shiny coin, threw it up forcefully, and the coin spun to the top, revealing an image of a spider. In the blink of an eye, Yuan Zhen woke up strong. A terrible nausea spread throughout her body. She suddenly covered her mouth and nose, sitting up. This is not my house. Why am I here? Hurriedly running into the bathroom, turning on the water and breathing heavily. But when she saw her sharp face in the mirror, she couldn't help but doubt. I am not dead, am I? No, I am sure I am dead. Dead in a building. I wander alone in the building. But this memory seems to be missing a lot of logic conflicts. Although little I and little love are things I created, they are not meant to protect me. To be sure, see what happened in the Death Note. But as soon as Death Note was opened, Yuan Zhen stood in amazement. I remember clearly. The remaining days should be 96, but upon opening it, it was revealed that the Death Note actually saved me. It should NTB said that it resurrected me. Luckily, the Death Note is so powerful that no matter how many days are written for death, death will come and no one can do anything about it. So, this is not the end of the story. That bizarre person must pay the price. His past only focused on increasing lifespan, hoping to live well. But now, in this bizarre world, it's no longer the same. Living like this is too ridiculous. One must increase their power to become stronger than everyone else. Because now I have become the supervisor of this world, punishing all the bizarre beings. Therefore, it is necessary to eliminate those who do not listen, the bizarre ones. The second day has already arrived in the blink of an eye. At this moment, the ghost society has become extremely empty and silent. Yuan Zhen, like a headache, cannot remember anything. Why can't I remember? The environment of the ghost society is clear. not just me, but at school, there is no trace of any members. At this moment, noise comes from the wardrobe of the Ghost Society. The artist opens the wardrobe, and a strange figure appears in front of Yuan Zhen. It is a ponytailed girl standing in the rain. Hello, student. My name is Thien Nu Bok. Can I join the Ghost Society? Yuan Zhen is extremely strange. The young girl also has soul power. But still, saying that the Ghost Society has only me will disband immediately. Your joining will not have any effect. And how long have you been hiding here? Thien Nu Bok speaks up with the death note. Listen to my argument. The girl pushes the death note in front of Yuan Zhen. Student, you are not alone, you have other members of the Ghost Society with you. After arriving at that large abandoned building, they disappeared. You can read Yuan Zhen Si's diary, which actually wrote about the activities of Yuan Zhen Si and other members. But those things are all forgotten by him. Yuan Zhen Si's pupil gradually opened up. The blurry figure in his memory became clearer. Everyone remembers everything about Yuan Zhen Si. Xia Bingbing, Li Zhongxin, Hoi, along with his childhood friend Tai Lu Hai, are the ones truly related to him. But now it's all gone. Yuan Zhen Si still wants to continue flipping through but is robbed by Thien Du and Bok Kan. The later pages cannot be viewed. That's my privacy, sorry. In the diary, there are things I can't reveal, but I assure you that I have no bad intentions and really want to join the Ghost Society. Yuan Zhen Si is not sure whether what he said can be trusted, but still holding the registration form on the table and handing it to the girl. Please fill it out here. Also, you must find more members for the Ghost Society, or else this society may disintegrate. Thien Du happily accepts the registration form and bows 90 degrees in gratitude. Thank you, President. This girl may be suffering from a major illness. President, I will go find more members. We will meet again tomorrow. And then he bounced out of the club. Yuan Zhen Si felt a bit suspicious and didn't understand. This girl seems to still be in the waking phase 01, but whatever her purpose is. Currently, the most important thing is to enhance one's own power. In fact, Thien Du's purpose is very simple. He has been following Yuan Zhen Si all the way because of his own predictive ability. His prediction told him that the safest place in this world is the Ghost Society of the school, more accurately always by Nguyen Chantu's side. If possible, he even wants to become Nguyen Chantu's wife. After successfully reaching level 3 of spiritual power, his soul power has been significantly enhanced and he can even take objects from a distance. Although the range of influence is only 10 meters, it is still better than none. Most importantly, now he can even use the supernatural power created from the death note, consuming the legend points he has collected. So, can an urban legend be written to bring people back to life? But the answer is only missing the legend points. At this point, just understanding the rules for you, you can cope. And the act of reviving old friends can also be scheduled. The problem is the bizarre rules of killing. At this point, recalling the bizarre rules of killing is not about the order of the game, or else it won't lead to the abandoned building. So, what are his killing rules? It has nothing to do with order. And even stranger, others only participate in the game in the order set within the group. Only as 5 found the abandoned building. And he used the new order to lead me to the abandoned building. Did he find out I have psychic abilities and only need to go home first and plan? Then this child rushed forward. His short legs leapt like phantoms and jumped into Nguyen Chantu's arms, crying mother, gnashing her teeth. Nguyen Chantu hugged the child and sat down in the living room. As for you, you still have no clue. Do we have to play again to get a hint? I have a golden finger to not die, but others don't. Even if someone tries to commit suicide, revenge should not be intervened by me. Meanwhile, the small eyes suddenly snatched Nguyen Chantu's phone and swiftly pointed at the phone screen, entering a series of information that startled Nguyen Chantu. Val chuckled lightly, perhaps considering asking Little Eyes and Little Love to make contact with that strange thing. That way, they wouldn't have to take responsibility for the consequences of others. Hong Tuyen Thu Nu appeared grandly. Does he have any instructions? In the eyes of Little Love and Kim Tri, Nguyen Chantu held his hand. Come with me, he said. But when they arrived, they were stunned to find that the abandoned building that was once here had disappeared. How could this be? That building was still here. Damn it, did that strange thing change my memory from the beginning? There is absolutely no abandoned building here. It doesn't match the diary of Thien Va Bok that the abandoned building should exist. Did that strange thing change everyone's memories? Is his power too strong at this moment? Little Love, with bright eyes, spoke up. There's the breath of our kind here, even taking Nguyen Chantu's hand on his own. Let's not stay here, let's go home. The small creature on his shoulder also nodded in agreement. Let's go home first. But are you confident enough to face our kind after returning home? Nguyen Chantu handed the phone to Little Love and Little Eyes. The rule is this: the three of us will form a group online. Little Love is the leader of Group 1, Little Dean is the leader of Group 2. Each person will post the story I have prepared for you on the group. As for me, I won't do anything. I'll see if he comes or not as time passes. Aiko builds Group 1, Minoru Group 2. Each person will post the story I have prepared for you in the group, and I won't do anything. I want to see if that guy will visit when time passes. Two strange people sitting on the sofa bored. Nguyen Chan looked at Huang Qian, a girl playing a game without much interest, couldn't help but ask. Little I, my recent rumors haven't increased much, is there a problem? Little I just casually answered. Recently, I haven't received any tasks from the underworld, and a slight sense of worry seems to be emerging. Maybe I will disappear now. A heavy knocking sound came from the door, both strange people looked towards it, a sound of handle turning the door. A strange red light emanated from the door crack. He's here. Initially, Huang Qian thought she had the right to control life and death and the power of all beings. Finally, who dies and who lives cannot be resolved. But unexpectedly, there is an entity that Little I cannot deal with. At that moment, it was Nguyen Chan's turn to deal with a mysterious and frightening creature. Initially planning to resolve everything in the deserted abandoned building, but found the missing building. Helpless, the only way is to bring the two strange people back to the mysterious rules. While the two strange people were bored, a knock on the door from behind resounded along with the sound of the door handle being turned. Along with the sound of the door, a strange red light gradually filled the room. A hand made up of black fibers hung on the doorframe, and immediately a mysterious creature full of black fibers protruded. Your turn is here. At this point, Nguyen Chan noticed Little I frowned slightly, then suddenly stood up, walked straight towards the door. At that moment, the red color of Little I's hair turned red, constantly entwining. Forming two more red strands, Little I's long hair fluttered in a struggle with the black fibers of the mysterious creature. Seeing this scene, a sentence came to Nguyen Chan's mind from the note. The mysterious creature cannot be solved. Only the bazaar can defeat the bazaar. When the two bazaars confront each other, it is a clash of power. But the result of the rule clash is unknown. Yuan Zhenshin doesn't know, but soon you will find out. Because he discovered. Xiao Ai's eyes lost their color, only two empty eye sockets remained. Then Xiao Ai closed her eyes, extended her hand, releasing the yin soul. There were still traces of blood flowing from the eye sockets. At that moment, the bell in the living room rang in silence. The yin soul emitted two red lights. Xiao Ai's eyes regained vitality. I, as an adult, am a bit stronger than him, but I can't defeat him. If I knew his name, I would send him to hell. Yuan Zhen probably understands. Because Xiao Ai is in his rules, so he can't kill him. When the bazaar realizes that Xiao Ai can't be handled, it shifts attention to the next person. Yuan Zhen is now prepared to accept death again. The truth is, the eyes were just something he created spontaneously. Even created for free. A strange noise rang out again. Your turn now. Xiao Ai looked displeased, raised her forehead clearly in anger, then took a step back. From Yuan Zhenshin's shoulder, with his slender arm reaching out and touching the mysterious black entity. Small hands clenched into two small fists, creating two small black fists. In the center of the fist is a black fiber. Then a step back. The fiber was pulled across. A painful scream rang out immediately. The black fibers immediately counterattacked. The black fibers hit Xiao Lian's face pia like a fight between children. Worried, the child sadly rushed into the glass door. As Nguyen Chan contemplated whether to meet the fully developed eye of Shinkawa, countless eyes appeared, enveloping Minoru. Immediately, Minoru reverted to his original form. The size of the black thread roll compared to Minoru was like a speck. Soon after, numerous small hands spread out from each hand, capturing the black thread, making the air immobile. A peculiar eye opened as if receiving food. The black thread roll was gradually pulled into Minoru's mouth. The entire roll trembled like rubbish, then with a loud groan, it was swallowed whole. My goodness, Minoru is truly powerful. I used to worry that these kids would be killed. That worry seemed unnecessary. At that moment, a note opened. Each page turned inside recorded strange murder cases, ultimately transforming into another strange event. Note 18,000 legendary points. And 17,000 good and evil points. Meanwhile, unlocking the new ability of the strange Yuan Zhenshi, he looked somewhat displeased. This game has truly killed many people. Despite being good or evil, anyone who participates in the game faces danger. He will never feel sorry for anyone who dies as they are all sinners. But when too many people face danger before him, he will also feel a bit emotional. Luckily, it has all come to an end. He has conquered this strange event and will not do evil deeds anymore. Just then, a knocking sound was heard. Is anyone there? Yuan Zhenqi put away the note and walked towards the door. Aiko and Minoru also hid behind the sofa. Looking through the peephole, an old man with a beard stands at the door. His name is Tiu Tung, who just moved in. Initially, I planned to visit during the day, but after hearing a loud noise, I came to ask what was happening. Yuan Zhenqi opens the door and apologizes for disturbing you in the middle of the night. My house is in chaos. Trying to exterminate something from now on. We are neighbors. Here are some specialties for you to accept. After saying that, he hands over the specialty bag, so I won't bother you anymore. Thank you. After that, Yuan Zhenqi closes the door and places the specialty bag on the table. After a night of hard work, he feels exhausted. Little I and Tiu Dog curiously run to the specialty bag. So ugly, we have to take some ourselves. Mysterious and rejecting. Nobody wants to eat this. We are the mysterious and mysterious ones. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the special engineering department encounters a strange case. The man named Ha Tan is the head of security. He has felt discordant for the past few days. In his memory, he has no children, but the room is full of the atmosphere of children. This sense of division is real, as if his memories have been altered. Do you think your memories, along with those around you, have been erased and controlled by a mysterious entity? The existence being wiped clean, but traces remain. Just thinking about it gives you goosebumps. But compared to the Mandela effect, there are traces, even if a cognitive error, but that is a complete forgetting. I think after conquering the bazaar, you can restore friends, save those who have passed away but are dead. There is no remedy in this world. Unless he also has a notebook like mine. Yuan Zhenqi was walking to school as usual, but this time he received a warning message from Bai Fu about the danger at Ming Lake Park. Yuan Zhenqi felt a bit strange. Ming Lake Park is not the apartment building where he lives, right? If there is danger, why doesn't his own notebook give any clues? Despite using the pencil eraser many times on the apartment building, he still doesn't feel any danger. While pondering, he didn't realize that some familiar faces had appeared. I heard people say, "You are Yuan Zhenqi, aren't you? We are from the security bureau and we want to ask you some questions." Yuan Zhenqi appeared surprised for a moment. They are not special individuals from the Science Institute, right? Why are they looking for him? Then, Chen Sheng said, "What's going on?" In a gentle tone, he looked closely at Yuan Zhenqi and said, "Do you know Xia Bingbing? She used to be a member of your ghost society. Seriously, if you know, tell me about him and some others who have disappeared. The reason for the disappearance. I can give you the information I know but cannot explain it in just 1 or 2 sentences. Come to my house to find out more." However, as he turned his back, Hong Ying and Kai Shaoan blocked his way. "Speak here," they said. "No one will overhear." Yuan Zhenqi also turned back firmly, looking serious, and said to them, "Come to my house to talk. Otherwise, you won't be able to ask anything. Also, help me take a break." Then he didn't turn back and went straight home, leaving Hong Wei and Kai Shaoan murmuring, ready to fight. Meanwhile, Lam Qin stared intently at the back of Yuan Zhenqi. The young mon's self-defense awareness is very strong. If he were just an ordinary person, we could enforce it, even though he is just a student. His calm demeanor alone was enough to attract the attention of the special department, not to mention that he was also a third-level psychic student. "Please come to my house upstairs. Yuan Zhenqi's intention is very simple. If you come to my house, you will be safe." Because he could easily request Little Eyes and Little Love to protect him, and he could also indirectly approach to learn more about the situation from the special department. He suddenly slammed the glass of water on the table. "You guys are definitely not law enforcement officers, right?" This statement suddenly silenced all 3 people. "If I am not mistaken, you must belong to a special department." Right when their identities were revealed, the 3 sat there looking at Yuan Zhenqi with an unbelieving expression. But Yuan Zhenqi just smiled and said, "I guessed right." So, in this world where there are strange phenomena and psychic powers, there should also be a special organization. Should NT there? I didn't expect to discover that. And then he laughed coldly. Hong Yin lost his composure and shattered the glass of water in Yuan Zhenqi's hand. "You can't just do as you please. $1,000 glass. Pay up for $1,000 glass. You're scamming. You're heading in the wrong direction." He quickly changed the subject. "The damages he caused will be compensated later. And indeed, we are the Special Investigation Bureau. We don't care where you got your information from. We'll tell you one thing: the supernatural cannot be destroyed. Our special department can only contain them. No matter how strong your psychic powers are, you cannot kill the supernatural. Otherwise, they will kill you. Now, please tell me if you and your teammates have encountered an eye orb." "Which eye orb? I don't know any eye orb. We just played a game and survived. But before answering your questions, What's important is that I need to have the answer I want before moving on. She chuckled lightly and saw that this boy truly understood how to assess the situation. Despite the unfavorable circumstances, he still fought to negotiate for himself. But clearly, his experience is not yet extensive enough. He still leaned back against the pillow and asked, "What do you want to know?" Qingqi did not know that the girl Wangqian who had once made them shudder is the boy standing before them. "I want to know what abilities will be created after the third stage of Linli. This is also one of the answers that Yanzhen wants to know." Qingqi gently replied. When spiritual power reaches the third stage, it will no longer create new abilities. Continuing to enhance spiritual power only increases the pressure zone. Increasing spiritual pressure cannot directly kill monsters, but to have a chance to survive the bazaar, raising spiritual power is mandatory. The hope is to increase spiritual power. This is a soulless loop. But if you want to ask me how to deal with monsters, then I want to ask how you can survive before this. Yanzhen naturally understood what he wanted to ask and revealed a bit of her ability. That ability is not bad at all. I have died twice in that game, but it also helped me understand the rules. If you want to ask me how to resurrect, that relates to my ability. Can we continue the topic of dealing with monsters?